My name's Tim Troll. I'm the city manager here of St. Mary's. The most important person I have to work with is the water and sewer operator. His position is very responsible because without him, the village could not depend upon receiving and getting safe water. And I cannot emphasize how much that person is important to me in my job and how much that person is important to the village as a whole, because we all depend upon his reliability and his dedication to his job.
I'm Rose Prince, and I'm from Sheldon Point, and I work as a city administrator. Our water plant operators there do their work, do their job. They put the chemicals in the water to get it clean so it's safe to drink and to use. We need to encourage our water operators, our water workers, to continue doing a good job, and also because the village people and the community, they depend on them to work and get their job done, and that's to do their job well. We'll have healthier people, and that's what we need most, healthy people, healthy and happy people.
My name is Linda Taylor with the Department of Environmental Conservation, and I'm with John Elia in St. Mary's. He's the wastewater and water treatment plant operator in St. Mary's. John, would you tell me what this is?
It's a standby generator for, just in case you back out, used it for start up and use it for well pumps.
Okay. Would you tell me what the major parts of a standby generator are? Like, what is this right here?
It's a battery, It's batteries, bomb, I guess, every time we start it, we got to use a jumping cable, from the car.
Okay. What are these wires that are leading from the battery?
So the other one is a ground, just for where you're starting.
Do you ever have any problem with the wire or the ground battery?
Not yet. I don't think so.
Okay. Do you have any problem with air in the fuel or water in your fuel whenever you start your motor? Okay. Tell me how you fix it when there's air in your fuel.
That's when it's airlock. Take this one off, start it until it got the fuel come out, close it again.
Would you show me how to do that?
Okay. And start, open this like that, and let air come out until it get the fuel, and close it again.
Do you have to do that on all of them when you have air in the line?
All four of them, yeah. Got start from here, close this one, and open the next one, get the fuel come out, close it again. All four of them, yeah.
What do you do when you have water in the fuel?
You got the screw down here, just unscrew it, and let the water come out, until it get the fuel, no more water, and close it again.
And after the water comes out, if that's what's wrong with the engine, then it will start?
Right, just turn that key, let it turn, fuel comes in, water comes in, until no more water, close it again.
Is water in your line and air in your line all that's ever happened to this particular generator?
We don't have no problems out yet, but, not have problems someday. Just take that screw off there, let the water come in, until it gets fuel. You can do it from out there, turn in the tank, drain it.
Always remember, check your battery cable. Check for air in the fuel line. Check for water in the fuel.
Good afternoon. My name is Biff Harrall. I'm the remote maintenance worker on the Lower Yukon, and I work for the Yukon-Kuskokwim Health Corporation. I go around to the different water plants at the different villages from Russian Mission down to help the water plant operators. We're here to show you some things about a generator, our standby generator in our pump house at St. Mary's. Start off with, there's two components to this generator. You have the generator on this end, and you have the engine driving the generator to my left. In order to get this engine started, you got to have a battery, and you got to have a good battery. You got to have clean posts. Periodically take these posts off, or battery cables off, clean them up, clean the posts, clean the cables. And when you put these back on, you might put a light coat of oil on them. It keeps them from getting so dirty with acid. Make sure your fittings are always tight when you're through. You go on around the other side of the generator. Well, we can stop here a minute. We've got the alternator that runs off your crankshaft, which keeps your battery charged up. And on these alternators, you should keep your belt tensioned properly, or your alternator won't keep your battery charged up. On this side of the generator is where your fuel rack is. Sometimes these generators won't start. You'll have air in your line. Make sure your fuel's on wherever your fuel is coming from. This is coming from outside in a couple barrels we've got out there, storage tanks. And if they won't start, then you have to look for the trouble, and usually there'll be air in the fuel line. In order to get the air out of the fuel line, you have to take these nuts off the top to bleed them. You bleed them one at a time. In order to bleed this, you've got to have fuel pressure coming up. Make sure your fuel is on. You loosen this nut and turn your engine over until you get fuel coming from here. You tighten that one up and you go the same way, all cylinders. Now this happens to be a 4-cylinder engine. Some of them are 3, some are 6. But you can always go back to your manual and make sure how to do these things. This is mentioned in your manual on troubleshooting. Now sometime you'll get water in your fuel oil, like these tanks out here. They're outside, change in weather causes condensation in that tank unless the tank is real full. And it'll get water in there. And the water will always go to your lowest point in your system. And in this case, the fuel filter is down on the side. You have to take this fuel filter loose, drain the water out of it, put it back on. Before you pull this filter off, though, I better tell you, make sure that that fuel is off outside if you're going to check it for water. Then you take this fuel bowl off, clean it up, put it back on, turn your fuel back on. Then you've got some clean fuel to work with. And once you've got the air bled out of all these, this engine should start, because all it needs is fuel and compression. This being a diesel engine, that's what it takes to start it. There's one other thing you might think about before you start any engine, whether it's a generator engine or what, is always check your oil. In this case, that's all we check on this one. You pull your oil stick and check your oil level. This is down, maybe a pint, but that's not enough to hurt it. If it gets down a quart, then add some oil to it. In this case, this is an air-cooled engine, so you don't have to check a radiator on it. But a lot of your emergency generators are gasoline engines, and they have a radiator on them. But this one doesn't. All this one does says, always remember to open your air louvers. This is in a small room and there's poor air circulation. So the louvers here, in this case, are here behind me. And once you get these louvers open, then you've got air circulation. Even with this louver open in the summertime, if you happen to have to use this generator, it gets pretty hot in here. So Then we've got some windows in the next room that we open to help it. And the times that you'll use these is in the villages when your power supply fails. In most cases it's AVEC. In this case anyway, it's AVEC. And they're in most of the villages now. And when that power supply fails, you have to keep your water system going. If you don't, you're going to freeze up, especially in the wintertime. And that's what this generator is here for, is to run your pumps and make your electrical supply for your pump house.
Always remember, check your battery, check your battery cable, check the alternator belt, check for air in the fuel line, check for water in the fuel, check the oil. Troubleshooting tips. If your engine won't start, check your battery. Check the battery posts. If the posts are corroded, they need cleaning. This may let your engine start. John Elia will show you how to clean a battery.
Water. Half a cup baking soda. Stir it up. And wash with the baking soda. Well, it's clean with the water now. Have a gallon of water. Gotta check the much water we got in the battery. It's good, full. If you get no way to check them, I guess, open it.
To keep your battery charged, your alternator belt should be tight.
We're going to show you how to adjust the fan belt on your generators. Now, this is not the same generator we looked at earlier, but it has a fan belt just like the other one did. And we found out this one is loose, so we're going to tighten it up. On these generator belts, when you're doing maintenance on them, make sure they're always clean, no grease on them, and make sure there's no cracks. There's a pretty good chance that some of these will break sometime too, so you should have a spare on hand. In order to tighten this up, you've got two bolts to loosen. You loosen this top one on your slide, and then you go underneath. There's one more locking bolt underneath that you loosen off on it. And when you get both those loosened off, your alternator will move back and forth, or generator, whichever one you have. Then you get your bar out here and pry this alternator back until you have about ½ inch of pressure on your belt to move it. Just about ½ inch is all you need. Once you get it about right, take your wrench and tighten up the top one first. It'll keep it from slipping. Once you get that tight, well, then you check your belt again to make sure it's still all right, that you haven't slipped. Yeah, you're still all right. Got about ½ inch of slack there. Then you take your other wrench down at the bottom and tighten it back up. You should check these about once a year. Belts don't go bad, but if they ever do go bad and you don't have one to replace it, you're out of business till you get one. So I would advise you to get a spare to keep it on hand. And you should check this about once a year.
If your engine won't start and the battery is good, check for air in the fuel line or check for water in the fuel.
And we're going to explain to you how to get the water out of the system. This is a different generator, and it's got a different setup on your fuel system. So John will show you how you check for water in this one. Ready, John?
Yep, this fuel line. The glass, if you got water in there, you could see it. Can right there. Take the sun off. Fill it down there. Put it back in.
If there's ever water in a system like this, it'll show up in this glass bowl. And if you would check this before you run the generator each time and clean it out, and then that gets rid of your water out of your fuel system.
Right.
There's one thing that we've been forgetting to mention, but we will. Always go back to your handbook, to your operator's manual. But you turn it upside down to read it. No, you don't either. You turn it right side up to read it. But get out your operator's manual, and it covers most of your equipment. And there is a manual that comes out with these generator sets, and always refer to that when you're working on the generator set. Well, what do you think, John? Will it run? Go ahead and crank it up, John. See.